Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, or morning, or evening, whatever it might be where you're at. This is Enlightened World Network bringing you our Soul Food Book Club meetings that we are doing every Wednesday at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. And we're hoping that more people will feel like joining in to have this discussion. And if you're watching us, you can join the discussion by typing in to the comments and letting us know that you're there and letting us know what you're getting out of this beautiful book that we're working on. It's called The Return to Me by Allie O'Shea. And we just had somebody disappear. Hopefully she'll be back. Like we were just saying, there's a lot of interference right now with electronics. So we're hoping Staci will rejoin and we can discuss what this book is doing for us, what we're getting from it. And the author, Allie O'Shea, is with us today. Welcome, Allie.
Thanks, Teri. Thanks very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Is it my sound that's out?
Oh, no.
Can you hear me,
It's
Jean?
my sound. Okay, give me just a moment.
Jean, can you hear?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
I can hear Allie.
Okay, now I hear you. Yeah, it was me. These headset sometimes just decides that it's not going to work anymore.
Well, that's technology for you. It can be great in its own right. And then for that again, it can fail us miserably.
I know, right? So let me just send Staci a quick message for her to come back in with us. And Jean, welcome.
Thank you.
I know we've been having some discussions offline about how much this book has touched you. So if you would like to start us out and let us know some of the things that it's doing in your life, let's start talking.
You know, I think more than anything, a lot of things I knew, but somehow this book has helped me to let them go. You know, I've had a lot of heavy baggage that I've been carrying around for a long time. And, you know, we try to deny it's there and we try, you know, but we know it is. And we know we should let go of this stuff. And it's hard to do for some reason, especially when you've spent your whole life carrying it around, you know. But the one thing I love about this book is it's allowed you to let that stuff go. And I think the one thing I keep coming back to is self-worth. I didn't have any. You know, I mean, I know we're not supposed to judge, but the only person I really judged was myself. And I never felt, you know, I've been thinking, well, Teri's going to call me any day and the angels are going to tell her to kick me out of the family and, you know, that kind of thing. But this book, I know that sounds silly, but this book has helped me let go of that and realize that, yes, I'm worthy. Yes, I belong. I'm acceptable. And, you know, so anyway, I really have loved it. It's meant a lot to me, a whole lot.
Oh, that's incredible.
Someone's
really good. Yeah, we have two that are coming in. I know Staci is one of them. I'm not sure who else we have here. There's Staci.
I'm back. I don't know what happened. I'm sorry.
You took a little trip.
I did, and then I couldn't get back, and I panicked. And the more you panic, the worse it gets.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure who else we have. Who just joined us that we're not seeing yet?
It's Christina.
Who is it?
It's Christina.
Christina, hi, welcome.
Hi, Christina.
Hello.
Hello, good to be here.
Good to have you. So this week I did the second section. So day 8 through 14. And wow, you know, I found a lot of these questions more difficult to answer. I thought that first part was going to be the toughest. And then I got to some of these things like, talking about where I displayed courage, where I displayed kindness, where I displayed selfishness. And I really had to sit with that. And how interesting is that sometimes that's our hardest thing to do, is to look at how we are presenting ourselves in the world and really pull that energy, because I go a lot, I give a lot, but I don't stop and think. I don't really stop and think a lot about what I'm doing. I just do. So this made me step back and be the observer. And Allie, how ingenious is that you were guided to put that in the book so that we can be the observer of our experience. And that's the huge healing part of this book for me.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it will heal many others, like it is healing you and sort of helping you to grow in areas that maybe you wouldn't have looked at before, and I think that's what self-help books should be all about, is helping you to grow and helping you to expand and helping you to explore who you are at the very core of your being. Because while you might think, well, I'm a really good person, I help lots of people, I give love and light out into the world, there's many other facets and whatever to us and to our personalities and in our everyday lives that maybe we don't sit back and think about.
So true. We just don't stop and think about them. And when we are coming from that heart-centered place, so we don't just stop and think, about what we're doing even. Or at least I don't. I can only speak for me. So as I'm doing the things I do, it's not something that I just stop and say, oh, I wonder who's watching this. I wonder who's benefiting from this. So it's really good to step away and just look at what's being done. And is it something that I want to continue doing? Is it the activities that I'm doing, is it something that I feel I'm getting benefit, or maybe I need to step away and take a break from or move to something different? So it's helping me to really reevaluate the things that I am doing. And I really appreciate that.
Excellent.
We've had Linda just join us. Welcome, Linda.
Well, thank you. I can't get a picture. I don't know why.
Hi, Linda.
It didn't say connect over video when I joined. I've never had that happen before.
Yeah, that is interesting. Oh, I can ask you to start your video. Let me do that.
Yeah, I did. Okay.
And there you are.
Linda.
Oh,
Hi. I thought I was on time, but I'm not, so I apologize.
Hi, Linda.
You're in divine time.
But I'm not going to beat myself up.
No point.
Hi, Stacy.
hi.
Hi, Jean.
Hi, Linda.
Hi, Jean.
Hi.
Hi, Allie. Hi, Teri.
Hi,
And-
Annie. Christina.
Christina. Okay. I knew that.
Hi, Linda.
Hi.
I enjoyed you so much this morning, Christina.
Thank you.
Trouble with the mute button.
Keep myself muted because I have a dog running around in the yard who is randomly barking, and so I'm just keeping myself muted. But hi, everybody.
I see. Hi. So, Christina, where are you at in the book?
Okay, so this is how I went about the book. I basically got it and read it, the entire thing. I had the advantage of listening to your experiences from last week. And so I think that helped me along and helped me to make a decision I wanted to read the whole thing. I do things like that though. I'll read the whole book all. But there were certain things that resonated with me. So I have actually kind of combined different chapters that spoke to me. Every day I'll just, pick a different one where I'll meditate and ask for guidance first when I open the book, and then to see what area should I be working on today. I have Post-it notes all over my house now with the affirmations, because I quickly came to a conclusion that I am doing way too much comparisons of myself with others. But I also, after thinking about it longer, also came to it that, it's okay. It's good that I have seen that now and that it's not working. And it kind of came as an explanation to me that right now everything is so jumbled up that we're desperately reaching for a rope, and that's through our memories. And this helped me before, so I thought. And so it's getting into some of those old habits, or I'm getting into some of those old habits of the old stories I would tell myself just to get through some things, so, and it didn't serve me really then. I mean, I guess in some ways it did. I do believe that sometimes we go through those whole experiences just to do a whole lot of learning in the moment. And I wouldn't have the wisdom that I have now if it weren't for that. And so I don't want to discount them, but I can tell you that I had been doing a narrative. I mean, all this upheaval, and some answers are harder to take than other answers. Some things didn't turn out the way I would have expected. Had I written a book on it before this, I would have, I was way crazy out of line in what I would have put down on a book. It's so unpredictable. But see, I don't even know if that's really helping my self-talk, because that gets me into my confidence has also taken a bit of a hit, because it's kind of like, well, why didn't I know that? So this definitely brought up some things for me. Like I said, I think I chose the right way to just ask for guidance from my angels, is who I am most comfortable with working with. And I think they've led me to some things that have been eye-opening, because I think I am relatively put together in a lot of ways. But this has shown me that, no, I still have some things in there that just need to be readdressed. But isn't that okay? Oh, and I have a pencil, and but it's only because I love the sound the pencil makes when I'm writing on paper. I love it. But I brought a pen so that I could underline things that I want to highlight or whatever. And that's the pen, okay? And it's not because I don't want it to be permanent. I just really love the sound of a pencil on paper.
Never thought about that before. Yeah, the difference in writing in pen and paper and pencil. And for me, with a pen, it's the flow. I love the flow when I'm writing with a pen.
Yes, mine is extra flowy pen. So I got the best of both worlds going on.
Well, thank you for sharing. I hadn't thought about that before, about reading through the whole book and then going through and answering the questions. And I love.
I don't know if it's right or not, but it's what worked for me.
I don't think there's a right or wrong. Allie, do you want to address that?
No, I think that's perfect. I think, I'm just looking for my internet cable because it's crackling a little bit in my end. I think that's perfect. Like if it's working for you, like I set the book out the way I set it out, it doesn't mean that it's set in stone that you have to do it that way, as you found out yourself, Christina. So I think whatever works for you is a good way. And of course, when we meditate or we ask our angels and we're waiting for the answer and we're given an answer, go with it for sure. Yeah. I mean, that's your best guidance.
Yeah.
So,
It's your way of doing it.
yeah.
So I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah. I've kind of learned that along the way. That's why I said it's like there's certain things that when I went through some of the other ones, like just looked at them really quickly, I still had answers. Jean said something about it last week when I went back and looked at it, about how it kind of came in spurts and you went back a lot to it and you had very short answers. That's kind of how some of these came through to me, where I started a lot of all the answers, but they were whatever was coming in very quick spurts almost. And then the deeper work was the deeper, that it was almost like prioritizing. But I understood what you were saying about, I don't write either very much. Sometimes I do things in my artwork, and I used to write quite a bit, but I've fallen out of that as being one of my more favorite ways. So, but it did. So now when I do it, I keep it short on purpose so that I don't get tired of the writing, irritated by having to feel like I have to write something. I don't think that's part of it. So I'm with you. I have lots of short little things, and I'm a highlighter in the book, so I could come back to it at a later time. It was interesting going through it all at once because I think you said just reading it made you start thinking things, and that's exactly what it did for me. I took something from everything, whether I meditated on it or not.
That's wonderful.
Beautiful, Christina. I'm happy that you're having a good experience with it. Staci, what's it been like for you?
It's been eye-opening. I am a person who typically doesn't have a good attention span, so I get distracted very easily. And I try to rush and I try to answer things the way I think they should be answered versus thinking on them, meditating on them, and coming up with my my truth. And this has really helped me. And I'm on day 3, only because I've really been taking my time and soul searching and finding my truth in these answers. And it's been, wow, like how far away from my deepest desire that I really am, and how far I have to go, but I know it's attainable. And the mantras and who am I? Wow. My first thing that comes to mind, mom, wife, and then my guide said, no, there's more to you than that. So I wrote all of that, and it was just, wow. Yeah, it's been a big eye opener, and I'm not rushing, and I'm enjoying every minute of it. And I'm making time to do it and not making excuses not to do it like I normally would. So it's changing me in a lot of positive ways, and I'm thankful for it, for this book.
Incredible.
And Staci, you're at a very transitional point right now because you're getting ready to move and you're packing
Yes.
up things and have a lot on your plate that's right there in your face, and you're taking time to do this for you. So kudos to you for really being committed and for doing this.
Well, that's what surprised me because my son left for college, and that's been really difficult. The move, preparing a home to sell. Normally, I would just make excuses. I'm not doing this. I can't make it, this or that. But this is just something I feel like, not that it needs to be done. It's, I want it. I want to do this. And that this is the first time that I've actually been able to do that. So I'm enjoying it.
I think you guys are going to make me cry before we leave. It's so incredible, though, honestly, to hear your journeys, like, from a book that you've written, and to sit here with all of you, listening to you, honestly, I think you're all amazing to be working through it in the way that you're working through it. And, thanks so much to Teri for setting up the book club, because it's obviously helping you guys as well to to work through it and to sort of hear each other's answers as to, well, I found that difficult, and is this okay if I go in this way? And everybody's encouraging everybody, and I think that makes a difference as well. So yeah, I'm delighted that you're all enjoying it, and honestly, it's very overwhelming for me.
Well, we're just so grateful to you. I'm trying to remember. Oh, okay. So we connected through a mutual friend.
Brilliant.
And you shared with me that you had this book. So I know that there's no accidents or coincidences. And the fact that, all of that took place in the way it did. And then I spoke with Staci when I got the book, and I'm like, this book is incredible. And so she's like, well, I want to do it too. So everything that happened, it was divinely orchestrated.
Of course.
And I really believe that. And everyone that's here right now, you were all supposed to be doing this book and be here with us. So I'm just so grateful that everything was put into place. And now here we are, growing from this experience. I know it's helped me. I've had growth myself over these last 2 weeks of doing this. That's just incredible.
Well, I would love to ask you all a favor at the end of it all, when you're finished it all. It doesn't have to be now, and it can be in your own time, to leave a review for me somewhere, whether it's through my email, and I can post it on my website, or even on the Amazon site. I'd love that, and would really be grateful to you guys if you would, because you've come so far, and you really are reviewing the book here every week, and speaking your truth about it. Not, I kind of said to my husband, I hope I won't intimidate anybody coming on today when they're talking about the book, because that's not my intention. I really, literally, I'm here today because I watched last week's episode. I couldn't make last week. I took a bit of a break from Facebook, and I watched last week's episode on my TV at night. I think I messaged you, Teri, and I said, I'm watching TV. I'm watching you all on TV now. And Paul said, they're your greatest advertisement for this book, because like what you guys were saying, and Jean, all your beautiful comments with your pen and your pencil even was just a statement of its own. I know it's your statement, but even that, like, I was like, oh my God, I wish I was there, and just say how beautiful that was. Do you know what I mean? So that's, I'm not here to intimidate anybody I just wanted to come and be with you, because after watching last week, I was so incredibly touched by how much it's benefiting so many people. So thank you so much.
Thank you for being with us. No, it's not intimidating at all. It's just like, we feel your beautiful energy. We feel it in the book. And then to have you come on with us, to share with us, it's a blessing.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I'm thankful you're here.
Yeah, very much so. Linda, we'd love to hear from you. Where are you at with the book?
Jean had her hand up. Do you want to say something?
Oh, I'm sorry.
You go ahead. I can wait.
It's up to you.
Okay.
I've had several things go through my mind. First of all, as a former teacher, people learn either whole to part or part to whole. So what Christine is doing is called Gestalt, where you have to get a whole picture and then you can absorb the parts. So I did and I have a hard time concentrating. So I did a combination of what I guess everybody else is doing. I was reading it so fast and I couldn't make myself slow down. I tried. So I would read the whole chapter. Then I'd go back and like digest it. I had to have I guess, a roadmap with like, what's the goal? What do we want to get out of this? And then go back and do it. But I still need to go back and do it slower because I was like in a gear or something. So I did 4 chapters, but I haven't done all the work in them as far as making a schedule and planning. I did do some time planning, but I have more to do to be comfortable with the book and myself. And I'm getting a lot out of it. And I think it's the first time I've read a self-help book that it didn't make me feel more guilty. A lot of them I feel like, oh, I should do this and I should do that. And that funk, that's obvious. And it's like, why didn't I think of that? And it's kind of putting myself down. This is the first one that I thought, oh, I've got a cheerleader and she's not going to judge me and she doesn't want me to judge myself. And it took that whole level off the top right away. So, so I'm really enjoying it and I'm making some strides. And one thing I realize that we all do, but I do in particular is, you know, for years and years, I was working. Right now I'm retired. So it's like I have time, but I'm not using it wisely because a whole day will go by and, well, I didn't do this and I didn't do that. And I think part of that is from, you know, you put your husband first, your kids first, your job first. And then at the end of the day, if you have a little time, you can have some time to yourself. So that's when I would eat the ice cream. I have this thing with ice cream. I just, but it was like my reward for years and years. And it's so hard to break that. So, excuse me, my plan is instead of I can have time by myself at night, but I want to schedule like from 3 to 4 every day where I don't have to wait till the end of the day. And I can do something for myself. And if I want a nice drink or something while I'm doing it, but I want to have a paint by number. I had my son buy me for Christmas and I haven't started that. So just something creative and relaxing. And I do a lot of thinking, you know, when I do those things. So just things I hadn't thought of are like being helpful and popping in.
I was going to say also, this is the first book that I've read and worked in that I didn't feel judged. So I'm with you. Yeah, I don't feel judged. I'm not where I want to be, but I feel like I'm going to get there.
Yeah, and that's why we're reading it, is to make progress. And to make progress, you have to acknowledge where you are and then set goals on where you want to be. So yeah, so I don't feel the judgment. That's a relief. You know, I was almost like, I don't know. So
you can have the ice cream while you do it as well, Linda.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
Well, thank you, Linda. Thank you for sharing that. And it brought to mind one of the days that I did this week. Allie, you were talking about decluttering. And you brought up the law of vacuum. The law of vacuum creates space to welcome in new things. And I think that's what we're doing when we're working through this book. We're vacuuming. We're taking a look at those things in our life and saying, oh, that doesn't really fit anymore, does it? So let me vacuum that out of there. And then it opens up a whole new space for us to bring in whatever new we want, like your paintings, Linda, or you know, some new habit or some new thing that we're going to take up in our life. So I loved that chapter, and I loved doing the exercises in that chapter to declutter and making me think of, you know, where, not just the outside, because I'm doing a lot of decluttering on the outside, but where inside do I need to declutter?
Yeah. So important, isn't it? I'm glad it's helping you, Linda, and that you're finding it good so far. But it's so important, isn't it? Because we can say in a different way, can't we? Let go of those things that no longer serve you. And, you know, that even comes down to decluttering your email, your Facebook friends, or unfollowing people. If you don't want to unfriend them, unfollow them. If you're seeing posts that are disturbing, like I have been you know, just unfollow, because I just don't like negativity on my timeline. So I'm just giving you that as an example. But, you know, decluttering is one of the best things you can do. It helps you to manifest, like what you were saying, Teri. You know, whatever it is that you've been wanting to manifest for a long time can even come. Every single time I declutter, even a small area of my home, right? If I start to declutter, ladies, a makeup bag, for example, right? Something you mightn't even think about decluttering. You might do it, what, every 2 years and go, oh goodness, I must throw this out unless it's finished, right? We've all got products that we don't use, or maybe toiletries. Money comes, unexpected money comes always for me. Every time I declutter, even if I declutter the garden, it's insane. So, I mean, it truly does open up the law of vacuum, but it's another way as well, like vacuuming our lives, vacuuming our inner and our outer lives. It is another way of saying things that no longer serve us. And, you know, we've all got limiting beliefs as well. So we have to look at them and whether or not they serve us. Like, I'm old, or I'm too old to do that, or I'm too fat, nobody will like me. You know, they're all limiting beliefs that we have. And we have to understand that belief is just a thought that we keep thinking, and your thoughts can be changed. And just because they were ingrained into you as maybe a child or a teenager, or in your 20s or your 30s or your 40s, doesn't matter. You can change them. You have the power to change them.
What I've been trying to say is that it has been such a contribution to my spiritual growth, because I think right about the time that the coronavirus, that COVID came, I became very concentrated on growing spiritually. You know, maybe that because of the powers that be at that time, the energies, whatever, because I know the first 3 days, there was so much energy that I could feel from people suffering and everything that it was almost unbearable. But I think there's always been a block to my growing spiritually. And I've been trying and trying, but I think the angels give you things at the times that you need them. And like we have been chanting about removing all blocks. And I think that they gave me this book so that I could start removing those blocks that I have, that I've had for so many years. Even though I kept thinking they weren't there, they are there. And I mean, my life has changed, you know. I don't listen to the news. I've cut out, since I started reading the book, I've stopped listening to the news, and I used to listen to it all the time, and what was going on and what was happening with the virus and what was the politicians doing and all this stuff. And I've stopped doing that. You know, Teri, that I've given up Diet Coke, even though it's very hard. And cleaning up my diet and doing things for me that I didn't do before, or because I kept them because I felt like they were soothing this pain that I have of not being worthy or not being loved. And I think what Staci said was really profound, because when someone says, "Who are you?" right away you start saying, "Well, I'm a mother, I'm a teacher." You know, it was like when I retired, I felt I lost my identity because I wasn't a teacher anymore. So who was I? You know, and but this has given it back. It makes me realize that we're all important, regardless of if we have a position, we have a purpose. And that's even more important than anything else. So I wanted to thank Allie for that, because I really has meant a lot to me. It's been a big step in my,
I want to take you home and put you in my pocket.
but it really has.
Pick you up and give you a big hug because I just think you're so adorable.
Oh, well, see, I can't accept that compliment because of my past, but if I could, I'd say thank you.
Just say thank you. We're going to do it now, Jean. Say thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's true. It's quite true. I wouldn't say it if it wasn't true.
Yeah.
Because the angels told me I have to always be truthful. I don't know if I was very untruthful in the past, but they sure keep telling me that.
But I feel like you're opening up your throat chakra because you're able to speak up now and to say those things. It's not that you weren't truthful before, you just weren't expressing authentically what was going on inside of you. And I love these changes that you're making, Jean. That's just amazing. And I look sometimes at these daily tasks in these chapters and I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, like, okay, here we go. And it is change, and change can be scary sometimes, and change can be uncomfortable. You know, if you're used to having that favorite beverage and then all of a sudden you're like, maybe that's not so good for me. Maybe that's something that I need to really take a look at. It can be uncomfortable to not have that little comfort that you used to have.
Yeah.
But that's what
I used to drink Diet Coke, Jean, and I switched to like lime and fizzy water.
Oh, I didn't try that.
Yeah, just get yourself some sparkling water and maybe some dilute lime or something like that, cordial. And it can help. It can help just if you're missing the fizz. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, I've been having not always, but the warm water with lemon in it.
Very good.
Really been good too. So if I start getting real, because it is an addiction.
I know.
You go through the same thing as I guess a drug addict goes through. But you know, if I get real antsy, I'll go get a glass of, you know, warm water and
with lime.
Not real warm, but you know,
yeah,
a lemon in it.
You can try another one as well. It's not in the book, but it's water and cucumber with mint leaves in it. That's very good for you as well.
Oh, okay. I'll try that.
I love mint.
Yeah, so you could just make up a jug the night before or something, chop up a cucumber, throw some mint leaves in, and it's there. And it's got this really distinctive taste. You'll either like it or you won't.
Okay.
But
well,
it's good
I had cucumber water before. I liked it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I drink angel water. I put jars of water outside, not angel water, well,
Moon water.
Call it moon water. I put jars of water out when the moon's full, and but it doesn't last all month. So, but it's or twice 2 weeks. So, yeah, I like that too.
Can I ask Teri, what was your daily task or your weekly task that you've done that you really went, what? Or that you didn't want to do?
Well, I think it was the one to buy something for myself or somehow to treat myself to something. And I'm like, okay, I'm decluttering. I'm getting rid of like all my material stuff. And now I'm going to go buy something for myself. So it was like, I had to really think about that one.
So what did you buy? I mean, it can be something as simple as flowers.
Yeah, I actually haven't done that one yet. I haven't bought for myself because I don't go out unless it's just to go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm putting some thought into. It's like, what is that? What will I buy for myself that is going to have meaning? I want it to have meaning, not just to go buy, but something that I'm really going to look at and say, yeah, that was just for me. That was just what I'm treating myself with. And I think that might have been even the way that it was stated, you know, to treat yourself. So it's going to come.
And once you do it, Teri, I believe actually you'll be like, oh, I'm quite liking this treating myself stuff.
Yeah. because I have bought myself flowers before. I've done that, and that's a good feeling. It's such a great feeling just to, when you look at them and you look at the beauty and you're going, I did that for me.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't wait for somebody else to do it. I did that for me.
Why don't you buy something like the selenite lamp? You can't really see it on my new background. I have a beautiful selenite lamp. It's a healing lamp. So, you know, something like that, or, you know, we've got loads of, why can't I think of the name of them? The other lamps, we've got them all over our house. The salt lamps, if you don't have any of them.
Yeah, I have those. I love them.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I suppose it's going to be something that's going to be unique for you, Teri, then, if you're, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And something that will accompany me on my trip that I'm getting ready to take.
Oh, where are you going?
I'm traveling around, visiting people that I haven't met in person yet.
Oh, nice.
And doing some training. I'll be coming up to see Christina up in Michigan. I'm going to teach an energy healing modality. And so I'll be doing that. That's one of the first stops that I'll take on the trip. But I'll be visiting some of the sacred mountains and vortexes of energy.
Oh, fantastic. That sounds lovely.
Yeah, it's going to be a real experience. And from what I'm hearing from my angels, it's going to be a deep spiritual growth for me. So I feel like this book, I'll be ending the book in another week, and that's going to be the perfect timing then to bring me into the trip and just really have all of this that I've already dug up and then be fresh for whatever else is going to come through spiritually.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
So exciting. I am so excited about it.
Yeah, I wish I could travel at the moment, but unfortunately not with all of this going on. So, but yeah, I'll be excited to hear all about it, Teri.
Absolutely. There'll be a lot of alone time, which I know is what's going to be the breakthrough for me, because I won't be distracted by anything around me. It'll just be me, myself, and I, and the angels.
Oh, that sounds beautiful. I want to come.
Sure. Come on along.
Teri, there's all kinds of stuff out there for storage solutions and all kinds of stuff to buy for your trip. Oh, you could have so much fun going on a shopping trip for the trip itself. We talked about an RV before.
I know. There's been like 4 people now that have brought that up to me. I'm just waiting for the chariot to arrive. I'm like, all right, angels, whatever it's going to be, I'm ready for it. Yeah. And not putting any expectation into it. Just letting it happen, getting into the flow. And that's one thing that this book is teaching me. Get into the flow. And it's that law of attraction. Allie, you're a law of attraction teacher. And this is really coming out profoundly in this book of how to get into that flow.
Yeah. It's so important that we do, because if we don't, we feel pressurized, and, you know, we can even feel judged, you know, like Linda said. And, you know, it's about sort of just going with what we feel in the moment, being in the now. Yeah. Right. Being in the moment instead of anticipating the future or looking back at the past.
Absolutely. Okay, well, we've got a few more minutes if anybody else wants to share anything.
I have a question.
Sure.
As far as manifesting, when you're working to manifest abundance or whatever you want, and then you have somebody that it feels like is working against you, can that keep you from manifesting what you're trying to receive?
Do you mean that you feel that there's somebody trying to stop you from receiving your manifestation?
Well, if you're manifesting and being positive, and then you're around somebody all the time who's negative and thinks it's not going to happen, can that affect your manifesting ability?
Well, what I would say, if you have a project that you're trying to manifest, so say you were trying to create a business, something like that, and you were telling this other person about it and they were putting you down all the time, what that'll do is it'll damage your own belief in it. So certainly for bigger project and things like that, I would kind of keep it as much as you can to yourself if you're able to do it by yourself. Unless you know that person that you're going to tell, or the people that you're going to tell are going to be fully supportive of you, because it can affect your belief in it, because they're continuously saying, you can't do that. What are you talking about? You've never done that business before. What kind of knowledge do you, and all of these kinds of things, for example. We can't ever manifest for somebody else. We can set intentions for other people. People can't stop you per se as from manifesting, but what happens is they can impair your ability to manifest it in the way or as quick as you want to, because they are placing these limiting beliefs in your mind, perhaps, and then you're taking them on as your beliefs. And so that sabotages you, and you start to put all these sort of things down on the railway track that block you from getting to it sooner, or even if ever. But they can't, it's not them that's doing it. It's because you let them into, I suppose you let their judgment affect you and how you feel about your abilities. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I think that has come up quite a bit with some of the groups that I'm in, is dealing with that negativity that you're surrounded by with others who are not in alignment with your energy, and how that can, if you allow it, it can affect what's going on with you and your vibration, and let it go lower. I feel fortunate because I'm by myself. I'm a single lady and I live by myself. I don't have anybody to affect that energy, but I understand because I have been in relationships. I've been in situations where that other person's energy was like a constant barrage of negativity and disbelief in whatever the dream was that was being put out there. So I totally understand what you're saying, Allie, and I feel for anyone who is battling with that. You know, and trying to keep your vibration high, but at the same time, you've got this outside energy that's just like constantly there.
Yeah. And I think, you know, what I teach is from Abraham, it's that the more that you raise your vibration, the more those negative people will fall away from you. However, sometimes they always say that if you are in complete alignment, even if you're living in the same house as somebody, you won't even cross paths in the hall or in the same room, okay? Because they just won't come out at the same time as you. Or if you're in the same supermarket as Mary across the road, who's always negative, and your vibration you think is so high, you know, or if it actually is, you won't actually cross paths with it. I actually have a Manifesting Mastery Academy if anybody wants to join it. It's on my website, but where I teach people lessons in manifesting, because I literally, I'm called the manifesting queen because I manifest anything that I want, usually into my experience. Now, that doesn't mean to say that I don't have bad things go on either. You know, sometimes by default, I will manifest some bad stuff into my experience too. You know, I'm not saying I'm perfect or anything like that, but I know how to manifest things deliberately into my experience. And, you know, I've really manifested some amazing, incredible things.
Well, I want you to manifest a trip to the United States just as soon as possible.
Well, it's actually on my website. I don't know if my husband changed it because he does all my technical stuff for me in the background, and my website and my YouTube and all that. But we did have, you know, a list up for workshops in the USA. I think it was 2020. I think he might have added 2021 now. I'm not sure if he did, because we were supposed to go to Spain this year because I hosted a workshop in Las Vegas last year on the law of attraction, and we were supposed to go to Spain this year, and I said to him about a month ago, we're back to America because I just love America so much, and he's a bit like, he wants to go back to Spain so he can lie on the beach.
Right. Yeah.
That's when Allie's working, you see, he has to work because he's there in the background. He's my He's my bag boy
Mhm.
for husband. But
Well,
yeah, no, I will be back.
We're all going to chant and manifest you over here with us so we can have that, or we can all just come to you in Ireland.
Yeah, well, I hope
hope
to be doing another retreat here. I did a retreat last year, and it was incredible. And the place that we wanted to have for this year, I was actually looking at it for this year and then going to America next year, was what happened was it was supposed to be a special tax thing with the people or something. It's this massive house, absolutely beautiful, in a couple of different places, but near each other. And it was called Tranquility Lodge. And anyway, we hosted a retreat there last year, myself and my other friend who channels angels, and she's a psychic medium as well. She, not her, the people who owned the house, they had to sell it back to the government or something like that. I didn't really understand it. Anyway, it turned out that they were actually going to be able to rent it out at the weekends. So I had a weekend in mind, and I had put it up on Facebook, and everybody was like, yeah, we want to come out, where we want to go out, we want to go out, can't wait. And I rang that afternoon. I didn't ring that morning, and the booking was gone. And it was the last booking that would have suited.
Oh.
But it's all is well, because it would have been now and nobody would have been able to attend. I may have lost my deposit. Other people may have lost their deposits. And likewise with booking a holiday or booking the US this year, I'm glad that obviously something guided me not to for that.
That you listened.
So.
Well, it's going to happen. We're going to meet you. I know this. I know that we're going to all just be able to put our arms around you at some point.
Oh.
And I'm excited about that.
Yeah, me too.
So Allie, I want to just thank you for coming on with us. Linda, did you want to say something?
I wanted to say to Staci that you know, and she knows I've had a problem with the negativeness, and learning to have my own voice. I don't need that person's approval. I feel good about myself, and I am able to say what I want, and the comments like bounce off. They don't mean anything to me. So they have really gotten rare. I don't get the negative comments anymore, and so it's a better situation.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, me too.
That makes me happy.
Oh, good. It makes me happy.
Absolutely. Our superpower is our ability to make choices, and we choose how we're going to respond or react to other people and to situations. So Linda, I'm so happy to hear this from you.
Yeah, good.
I know that was big for you for a long time.
It was real big.
So that's a lot of growth that you've done.
Yeah, thank you.
Well done.
Beautiful. Anybody else? Well, thank you all. Thank you for being here, Allie. We so appreciate you. And I'm so appreciative of this book. For those of you who are watching, we're doing the Return to Me, 21 Days to Love Yourself. And that's exactly what it's doing. And we're all testimonies of that, how it's bringing out that self-love inside of us. So thank you so much. And to all of you who watch. Absolutely. I love it. I love your energy.
Meet you all.
You too. Thank you.
So we're going to end, and we'll be back next week at the same time, 1 o'clock Eastern time. And come join us. Come let us know how this book is touching your life as well. I know that there's many in our group that are reading it. So either come onto the Zoom or share with us in the comments what this book is doing for you. That's what I want to hear. And then we also need to decide what our next book is going to be. So there's a thread in the group if you want to put in any suggestions. And then we need to decide that really soon, what the next book will be. So much love to all. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, Teri. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody.